Hi, my name is Jenny Magera, and I'm an educator from Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. And I am so excited about how Google Expeditions has literally taken our students' learning to a whole new world. For example, it's allowed them to have deeper cultural understanding for other people and places. It's allowed them new perspectives, and it's helped us develop deeper content understanding for hard concepts like geography, geometry, geology. When we brought Google Expeditions into our classrooms, we asked ourselves, how is this going to impact instruction, and what do we need to do to plan for it? We were so amazed at the possibilities that came as a result of that thoughtful planning. For example, one of our teachers brought Google Expeditions in as part of their unit exploring Mount Everest. She wanted her students to ask questions about landforms. Usually, when the student looked at things like mountains and riverbeds and valleys, they ended the unit saying, "When's the test?" However, when she brought Google Expeditions in and she planned thoughtfully about the questions they were going to ask and the experiences they were going to have through this virtual reality tool, she was surprised to see that the students began a deep discussion investigating other ideas from other content areas. Students were asking questions about insulation. How will their boots keep their feet warm as they climb up the mountain? They were asking about the native peoples who may or may not live on the mountains. Do people live up this high? Can they breathe this high? They were asking if the space shuttle, when it takes off from Cape Canaveral, scrapes against mountains. These students were wondering all of these deeper level ideas that they had never considered when they were looking at the same mountains and the same images in 2D pictures in their textbooks or on a computer screen. Because the teacher had planned for discussion, for thoughtful analysis, the students were able to then take those questions they had and build cross-content or interdisciplinary studies that snowballed from that initial Google Expedition. It was incredible for her to see how one inquiry project turned into many. Here are some examples from other teachers from around the nation who've been using Google Expeditions and their experience with how it has truly impacted their instruction through thoughtful planning.
Aloha, my name is Michael Furcano II, and I'm a former 4th and 5th grade teacher, and now I serve as a Technology Integration Specialist in Honolulu, Hawaii. One great example of how Google Expeditions can open the eyes and minds of our students came from one of our science teachers who has a passion for food science, and she often shares that passion with her students. That's why our first expeditions choice was the career expedition of Chef Laura. Students were able to virtually stand among the chef and kitchen staff as they prepped for the dinner rush, and our science teacher enjoyed focusing on the finer details of a well-established restaurant kitchen. This gave students a unique perspective into a possible career path.
Hi, my name is Danny Kennis, and I am a high school special education and social studies teacher from the New York City suburbs. My students have a variety of learning, emotional, and behavioral disabilities, including autism and Asperger's. They're usually really hard to motivate and engage, and they're not usually too psyched about school, but on Expeditions Day, everything changed. I saw a completely different side of them, and my classroom was transformed into this immersive cultural and historical experience where students really felt like they had gone on a field trip to see medieval Europe and Renaissance Europe, and they loved all of the art and architecture that they saw. In using Expeditions, it was important for me to create an experiential class period, and so we really hyped it up throughout the week, and I made fake passports for the kids. We dressed up for Expeditions Day and wore binoculars and fanny packs, and one student even brought a suitcase with him, and it was just an all-around incredible experience. The best part was probably getting to see the students apply their knowledge in a tangible, experiential way that really showed me that they got it. They understood what was going on. They were really able to bring to life the things that we had talked about in class because of Expeditions. And I've never seen my students so involved or so excited in their own learning.
Hi, my name is Robert Pino, and I'm the technology teacher at Broome Street Academy in New York City. I've been using Google Expeditions in my classroom to engage and excite my students for a little over a year now. For me, Expeditions has filled two important roles in the educational process. First, it allows my students to contextualize their learning within real-world experiences. The best and most effective kind of learning is learning that connects to a student's lived experience. And by allowing my students to look around and explore the spaces that we're discussing in class, whether they're historical or hypothetical, Google Expeditions creates important and effective experiences for my students to hook new information into. Even more importantly though, Expeditions invokes in my students a sense of wonder that is so rarely tapped into in most of our modern education. It's one thing to read about how small we are within the larger context of the cosmos and the universe, but it's another thing entirely to actually see the Earth as a tiny blue dot as you find yourself floating between home and the moon.
Now that you've seen how Google Expeditions can truly take your students' learning to new places, it's time for you to give it a try. Check out the planning resources in the EDU Training Center, and then try writing your own Google Expeditions lesson plan. Once you've given it a whirl, why don't you go ahead and add your comments below. Tell us how it went, even link the lesson plan so other educators can learn from and with you. We can't wait to see where you take your students' learning, and we hope you have fun exploring.